Hello and welcome to Understanding dBASE Plus 10's Creating Databases. Let's get into the product. One of the really unique things about dBASE Plus 10 and one of the historical things about dBASE is the fact that it could create databases very quickly and easily. As you can see, I've loaded up dBASE Plus 10. I have my command window open and I also have my navigator. For more information on how to use the navigator, please go to the navigator video and to get more information. But let's go ahead and create a new table. As you can see in my navigator, I've went to the table tab and I'm now going to double click on the new table. When I get that, it's going to come up and ask me, do I want the wizard or do I want to go ahead and create one manually? Now if I go into the wizard, you'll notice that they have all kinds of different layouts for different things. So personal info, as you can see, all of the things that you would expect. Product info, all the things you'd expect. To-do list and events, all the things you would expect. Now if you didn't want to do it with that, you could come in here to the designer and go freeform. And that's what I'm going to do right now. One of the really great advantages to dBASE is that once you have data or once you've created a database, it's really easy to use the environment to start exploiting that data and trying to use that data afterwards. So let's go and say we're going to call this auto key, okay? And I'm going to make it of a type auto increment, which means that I won't have to increment the key value for this product. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is add first name, and then I'm going to leave it as character 10. I'm going to add last name, and we'll leave that as character 10. And then I'm going to say title. Okay. Pretty straightforward. We'll leave it as 10. At this particular moment in time, we're not going to index on anything. Once we're done with that, we can go ahead and come up and do a save as. When we do a save as, you'll notice that it comes up as a dBASE table, and I'm going to call this title database. Okay. Now that I've done that, I've actually created the database. Now as you can see over on the side, I have my inspector open and I have it locked to the left side of my dBASE environment, because I want it to stay there so that I can see and interact with various things. As you can see, I have my title database dbf. It's an ANSI database. It was last updated today. It is of type dBASE, and it is a version 7 of the dBASE product. Now, of course, we have 0 for the record because we haven't added anything to it yet. So I'm going to go ahead and close that structure. Now notice back in my navigator again, I have my title database. So I'm just going to go ahead and double click on it. Now notice that it comes up with auto increment. Now the reason why this is working this way, and this is one of the key features of dBASE, is because I'm ready to start working with dBASE and I have the ability to design a very quick and easy application with just the runtime support from the dBASE application. So as you can see right now, I have it set on the form layout. And if I wanted to go to columnar layout, I could set it to that. And if I wanted to go back to the designer, I could click on the designer, go back into the database by hitting the execute or the table. And then I could also go ahead into grid form and notice that I have none in here. But the key to this is that I want to add new fields or new data into my database. So let's go ahead and click the add row. Now the auto increment field is the field that automatically increments, so I don't need to put that in there. So I can put Mike, and last name is Roslog, and my title is CEO. I don't have another one, but I might put in Michael Roslog, and today I'm a webinar expert. Okay. I might also come in here. Now notice how the auto increment key, as I go to each row is automatically adding it up. So let me just say M roslog, and I want to go back here, and I'm going to make that a senior, and then I'm going to say demo. Okay. Now, as you can see, I just hit enter on that. Again, as I'm adding data to it, it becomes more and more interesting to me. Now, I can come back in, like I said before, I can change this to the columnar layout. I can change it to the form layout. But notice that now I have data in my database. I can actually come out and go to the first database by clicking on the navigator built into the dBASE environment. I can go to the next row, next row. I can go to the prior row, prior row. I'm going to do a search, and I'm going to use title, and I'm going to use the word demo because that's what I put in there for the title. And now I'm going to say choose next. Notice that it automatically took me to key 3. Now, the next thing I may want to do is I may want to look at, and I may want to change this environment. So I'm done searching really quickly. So I may want to go back into the designer and change my database a little bit. So I come back into my data. I'm back into the structure. I'm going to just go ahead and tab down through. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in my number, my employee number. And we're going to go ahead, instead of a character on this one, I'm going to go ahead and make this a numeric. Okay? I'm going to keep it as width 10. I'm not going to have any decimal points. I'm just going to keep it there. I'm going to go ahead and save it. Notice over here that I have a record count of 3. I have a dBASE. Everything looks good. Now let's go back and run it. Now notice there's my employee number, and it's automatically set up with how it thinks it wants me to use this. So it has a little up and down slider for my number. Now if I go to the next, you'll see that I have no employee numbers on here. So as CEO, I'm going to say my employee number is 1, and I'm going to go to the next. Now when I go back, notice that it automatically saved that. Let's go to the next one. I'm going to say that my employee number for webinar is 100, and I'm going to go ahead and hit the save row item up here. Then let's say I go to my next record, and I'm going to make this 200 for demo. And then I'm going to go to the next record. There is no next record. So notice how I can't go to the next record here, but what I can do is hit the plus key, come into here and say Steve, no name, and his title is whatever, and he has a title of 1,000. Okay? I'm then going to hit my check mark to say that's correct. Now, I'm going to go back to the beginning of the form. Going to go back in there, do the little search. I'm going to go ahead and go to first name, move this over a little bit, and I'm going to type in the word Steve. Now notice I kept it lowercase because I did not match case. So if I match case on here and say find next, it's going to come up and say value not found because that's not how I typed in Steve. Take off the matched case and then say find next, and it's going to find Steve no name ready to go right there. Now, once I found that, I can close this. I can also sort ascending or descending. So I can come in, click on it. Field my employee number has no ascending index. Sort requires an index. Create an ascending index for my employee number. Yes. So then it automatically puts it at the beginning because it is on that field. So I've added an index to the process. And that's how easy it is to work with dBASE inside of there. So again, this is just to show you how quick and easy it is to create a database, really simple, add some data using the built-in data management tools of the IDE. So I can work, I don't have to build an application. I don't have to write a single line of code. I can actually build a database, put data into it, and start really working with it. I hope this helps you understand just a little bit more about how good and how great dBASE Plus 10 really is. Thanks a lot. Have a great day. Bye-bye.